Hello, is this Emma Carter? I froze, staring at the unknown number. Yes, speaking. This is Laura Benson from Elegant Affairs. I'm the wedding planner for your brother, Mark's wedding at Seaside Horizon Resort. Her voice was professional, but tense. I sank into my chair. Mark hadn't spoken to me in months, not since the family argument at Thanksgiving. Okay, and? This is awkward, but your parents asked me to remove you from the guest list entirely. They said, and I quote, "She's no longer family and doesn't need to be part of this celebration." I gripped my coffee mug, feeling it warm my shaking hands. And you told them? I said I'd handle it professionally. I'm calling each affected guest personally. I nodded slowly. Thank you. Can I ask, are you happy with the resort? Everything okay with the arrangements? There was a pause. Yes, absolutely. It's one of our finest venues. Staff is incredible, the facilities are stunning. We were lucky to secure it for next Saturday. I picked up my phone. Laura, I need 10 minutes. Can I call you back? Of course, Emma. I'm so sorry. Once off the line, I called my assistant. Maya, connect me with Jonathan Reed at Seaside Horizon immediately. 2 minutes later, Jonathan answered. Emma, ready to review the event. I need you to call Laura Benson. Tell her the wedding is cancelled. Full refund, no alternative dates. Explain it's a last-minute corporate event that requires the resort. Make it clear this decision comes directly from ownership. Understood. Other properties? All 7 regional locations. Inform them we cannot accommodate the Carter wedding. Nothing else. No explanations. Jonathan confirmed and hung up. 8 minutes later, my phone rang. Laura's voice trembled. Emma, the resort just cancelled the wedding. Complete cancellation. They said a corporate event required the entire property. I kept my tone calm. What else did they say? Nothing. Just that it was a decision from the top. I don't know what to do. I've planned weddings for 12 years, but this, her voice cracked. I smiled faintly, glancing at the photo on my desk from the acquisition announcement 3 years ago. Laura. I need to tell you something. The corporate event they mentioned, that's my company. I own the Seaside Horizon chain. Silence. 10 seconds of disbelief. You own the resort? Yes. All 7 locations in the region. I acquired them through my investment firm. But, your family, they made it sound like you weren't involved, struggling. I laughed softly. Laura, can you do me a favor? Conference in my brother. Are you sure? This seems personal. Trust me. Minutes later, Mark's cold voice joined. Laura, you found a solution for the venue, right? I have Emma on the line, Laura said. Mark's tone sharpened. Emma, you're not involved. We don't need drama. I kept my voice steady. Laura told me I was removed from the guest list. She handled it professionally. No drama needed. Laura interjected, David, sorry, Mark, there's another issue with the venue. We need a new high-end location. Money is no object. I cut in. Mark, quick question. When you booked Seaside Horizon, did you check who owns it? Why does that matter? Big corporate resort, status symbol for the family. Mark. I own it. Silence. Impossible. Emma, you work a normal office job, live in a small apartment. I have a penthouse downtown, Mark, and my car service is because I work through commutes. The car you've seen is just for errands. Mark's voice cracked. This can't be. I gestured to Laura. Read the exact message from your general manager. Mark's papers rustled. Due to a corporate decision from the chain owner, we cannot accommodate the Carter wedding at any of our 7 regional locations. 7 locations. His disbelief was palpable. How many properties are we talking about? Mark asked, voice tight. All 7 luxury resorts in our area, I explained. Including the Seaside Horizon Grand, where your wedding was planned, Seaside Palms, where Victoria's bridal shower was last month, and Seaside Marina, where your rehearsal dinner was booked. Another long pause. Emma, Mark said slowly. Are you telling me you own all of those places? I own the entire chain, I said. Yes. I acquired them in 2021 through Carter Hospitality Holdings, my investment company. I named it after our family. Laura's voice grew stronger as realization dawned. Ms. Carter, so when the general manager said the owner made the decision personally, that was you? Yes. After she told me my family considered me not family anymore, I decided to respect their wishes by not hosting family events at any of my resorts. This can't be real, Mark whispered. His certainty had faltered. If you own this chain, prove it. Laura, are you still there? Yes, Emma. Could you call the Seaside Horizon Grand back and ask for Jonathan Reed, the general manager? Confirm the ownership details for Mark. Should I disconnect? No. Use 3-way calling. Mark needs to hear this himself. Minutes later, Jonathan's familiar voice joined. Good afternoon. This is Jonathan Reed. Mr. Reed, this is Laura Benson from Elegant Affairs. I'm with Mark Carter and his sister, Emma Carter. There's confusion about the resort ownership. No confusion here, Jonathan said professionally. Miss Emma Carter is the sole owner of all Seaside Horizon properties. She acquired the chain in 2021 and has been an exemplary owner. Mark's voice dropped to a whisper. How much? How much did all this cost? Jonathan hesitated. I can't discuss specifics, but it was a major acquisition. Over $200 million for the entire chain. The line went silent except for Mark's heavy breathing. Mr. Carter, Jonathan continued, regarding the wedding, Ms. Carter has instructed us to provide a full refund. Processing is immediate. Are you still there? I asked gently. I don't understand. How do you own a $200 million resort chain? Where did the money come from? I've been investing since college, I said. Started small, built up my portfolio. The resort chain was my largest acquisition, but I have other holdings too. But Mom and Dad said you were struggling, Mark said. They assumed because I don't share everything with the family. Anytime I tried to, it was dismissed or shifted. Over time, I let them think what they wanted. Laura interjected hesitantly. Should I leave you two to talk? No. Laura, quick question, how fast could you find an alternative venue for Mark's wedding? Emma, with 5 days' notice and 200 guests, nearly impossible to match the grand, she said. What if I told you I could guarantee something even more exclusive? I said. Mark's voice sharpened. Emma, what are you doing? Being a good sister, Mark. There's an 8th Seaside Horizon property, not public. My private resort on Catalina Island. Executive retreats, special occasions, now your wedding. Laura's voice rose an octave. Private island, 40 acres, beach, helipad, full catering, accommodations for 300 guests. Immediate family included. Mark's tone wavered. Why would you do this? Because you're still my brother, and Victoria deserves the wedding she dreamed of. I don't know what to say. No need to say anything now. We'll focus on your wedding first. Laura, coordinate with my events team for the island property. Absolutely, Ms. Carter. Helicopter transport from the marina included, seamless transition for all guests, Jonathan confirmed. After logistics were settled and Laura and Jonathan left the call, Mark spoke softly. Emma. I owe you the biggest apology of my life. We both made mistakes, I said. I should have shared my success, you should have asked instead of assuming. But we also treated you as if you were failing, Emma. All of us did. Mom and Dad thought you were struggling. I know, I said. I let them believe that because every time I shared achievements, it was minimized. Easier to let them assume. How successful are you really? I gestured around my office at the city skyline, photos of acquisitions and charity events. My net worth is around $400 million. The resort chain is just part of my portfolio. 400, Mark trailed off. You're incredibly successful. I found my own way, differently than they expected, I said. The wedding invitation, he said quietly. That wasn't my idea. Mom and Dad convinced me having you there would create drama. When have I ever made family events about myself? Never. You stay in the background, supportive, private. We misread that as failure. Exactly. Supportive, private, and successful. Can we start over? Can the family start over? I'd like that, I said. But genuine. No assumptions, no dismissals. Celebrate achievements equally. Absolutely. Victoria and I, we want to make this right. All of us. Then let's start with the most beautiful wedding possible, Catalina Island. Money is secondary. Family is primary. Mark hesitated. It's too generous. We can't accept. It's not about money. It's about family. You're still my family. And we'll make sure this wedding is everything you dreamed. I need to call Victoria. Mom and Dad, they should know. Wait, I said. Don't tell them about the business yet. Let's celebrate the wedding first, then we have a family conversation after everyone is happy and relaxed. Why wait? Mark asked, tension in his voice. Because right now, everyone's defensive and embarrassed. Let's give them the wedding first, then talk about the bigger issues when emotions aren't high. You're probably right. You've always been the smart one. We're all smart in different ways, Mark. We just haven't recognized it in each other. 3 days later, I stood on the deck of my private island resort, watching the sunset over the Pacific. Final preparations for Mark's wedding were underway. The island looked magical, thousands of fairy lights strung between palm trees, elegant seating on the beach, a dance floor perfectly overlooking the ocean. Victoria had cried when she first saw the setup. Emma, this is more beautiful than I ever imagined. My parents were quiet since arriving, overwhelmed by the luxury. They kept asking how I managed such an elaborate celebration, and I gave vague answers about having connections. The ceremony was perfect. Mark's vows brought tears to everyone's eyes, and Victoria glowed in her dress. Watching them exchange rings with the ocean behind them, I felt a happiness I hadn't expected after everything that happened. During the reception, my father approached at the bar. Emma, this place, how did you manage this? I've never seen anything so incredible. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Dad. But the cost, this must have cost more than most homes. How are we paying for it? I smiled, sipping champagne. Don't worry. It's handled. But Emma, you can't afford something like this. Nobody can, maybe billionaires. Dad, we agreed family conversations come after the wedding. Tonight is about Mark and Victoria. He nodded, though I could see the questions forming in his mind. Later, during dancing, my mother pulled me aside. Emma, I need to apologize for the invitation issue. Mark told me about what happened with the planner. It's okay, Mom. No, it's not. We made assumptions about you, about your life. We were wrong to exclude you. We can talk tomorrow. Tonight is celebrating. I feel terrible. You arranged this for Mark after how we treated you. I looked around at the fairy tale setting, at Mark and Victoria dancing under the stars, family members laughing and enjoying themselves. Mom, seeing everyone happy like this is worth it. Family is complicated, but it's still family. You're better than any of us deserved. We all make mistakes. What matters is what we do moving forward. The next morning, the entire family gathered for brunch on the resort's terrace. Everyone still glowing from the night before. So, my father said, setting down his coffee, time for an honest family conversation. Mark and Victoria exchanged glances. Dad, there are things about Emma we need to discuss, like how she arranged all this luxury, Mark said carefully. I took a breath. Before anyone says anything, this celebration isn't to prove a point or make anyone feel bad. I did it because I love this family despite our communication problems. Communication problems? My mother raised an eyebrow. When was the last time you really asked about my work? Not polite conversation, real questions. She was quiet. I suppose I assumed if something important happened, you'd tell us. Exactly. I tried many times, but every time I shared successes, the conversation shifted or I was told I was unrealistic. My father frowned. That's not true. We've always supported you. Dad, 2 months ago, I tried to tell you about a major acquisition. You told me to focus on a stable job with benefits instead of chasing dreams. Victoria spoke quietly. What acquisition? I looked around at the people I loved. I bought a chain of luxury resorts, $200 million. The silence was absolute. $200 million, my mother whispered. The Seaside Horizon chain. 7 properties, including the one for Mark's wedding. I also own this resort, my private island. My father set down his coffee with shaking hands. Your private island, plus other real estate, tech companies, financial holdings. What's your total net worth? About $400 million. My mother stared at me. $400 million. Yes. And yes, you all thought I was struggling. You excluded me because you assumed I was unsuccessful. How long have you had this level of success? My father asked. I've been building my portfolio for 8 years. Major growth in the last 4. 8 years, he repeated. And we never knew because every time we asked, we were dismissed. Victoria reached across the table. Emma, this explains your quiet confidence. I always admired it but didn't understand it. I stopped sharing because my family wasn't interested in my success. My mother cried softly. We failed you. You didn't fail me. We just defined success differently, and we never understood each other. Excluding me from Mark's wedding was wrong, though. Mark's voice thickened. And instead, you're the most successful among us all. Success isn't just money, I said. Relationships, careers, families, that's success too. But yes, the resorts are part of my success. My father struggled to grasp it. $400 million, generational wealth. Yes. And I plan to use it responsibly, including helping family when appropriate. Supporting family? My mother asked. Dad, your accounting firm struggled after the recession. He nodded. Yes. What if I connected you with clients who need personalized service over big corporate firms? You do that, after how we treated you. You're my father. Of course. Mom, your nonprofit with literacy programs, what's your biggest challenge? Funding. We have volunteers, demand, but limited resources. What if funding wasn't an issue? You could expand every program you dreamed of. Her eyes widened. Emma, you can't just solve our problems with money. I'm not solving them. I'm providing resources so you can solve them yourselves. There's a difference. Mark shook his head. You're changing our entire family's trajectory. I'm showing what family does when they have the resources and opportunity. Deserve is complicated. We use what we have responsibly. Victoria wiped her tears. Your grace, incredible. I've never seen anything like it. I knew eventually the truth about my success would come out. Tonight is just the beginning. I had decided long ago that when the truth came out, I would respond with love, not anger. My mother reached across the table, taking my hands. How do we make this right? How do we rebuild our relationship with you? By starting fresh, I said. By asking questions instead of assuming. By celebrating each other's successes instead of downplaying them. By being a family that lifts each other up instead of tearing each other down. Can you forgive us? My father asked quietly. I looked at them, all imperfect, sometimes frustrating, but also the people who raised me, instilled values, encouraged my education, and shaped me into someone capable of achieving what I had. There's nothing to forgive, Dad. Only moving forward together. Mark lifted his champagne glass. To moving forward together, and to Emma, who has shown us what true grace looks like. As we clinked glasses, I felt something I hadn't in years, genuine connection, open communication, and hope for what our family could become. Later, as everyone prepared to return to the mainland, Victoria hugged me tightly. Thank you for giving us the most beautiful wedding imaginable. But more than that, thank you for giving our family a second chance. Thank you for welcoming me back. You're always welcome, I replied. As the helicopter lifted off, carrying my family back, I stood on the beach watching them disappear into the sky. Tomorrow, the real work would begin, honest conversations, adjustments, and probably a few missteps. But for the first time in years, I felt I truly had my family back. That feeling was worth more than any business success. My phone buzzed. A text from Mark, thank you for everything, but mostly thank you for being the sister we didn't deserve, yet somehow we're lucky to have. I smiled at the ocean and typed back, thank you for being my family, always.